I am Susan Yankee, and I'm calling to order the Connecticut State Advisory Council for Special Education Executive Committee. And today is Wednesday, June 7th, 2023. Is there anybody here for public comment? I do not believe so.
No public comment at the moment.
Great. Okay, consent agenda. We need to approve the May 8th Executive Committee meeting draft minutes. Are there any corrections? No, I looked through, I didn't see anyone.
No.
Would someone like to make a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, so Catherine, a second?
A second.
Nachi. Abstentions from anyone who wasn't there? I don't see anyone. Okay, great. All in favor of approval of the minutes from May 8th? Could you please raise your hand? Great. The May 8th Executive Committee meeting minutes are now approved. Okay, committee matters. First one, July 19th orientation and the rescheduled full council meeting. So where are we on that? Where are we going, Brian, on July 19th?
Yeah, we had a couple of options for you to consider. It's getting a little bit late in the timeline as far as, places getting booked up and things like that. But I'll probably mispronounce it, but is it Sean, how do we pronounce it? Lyceum?
The Lyceum.
Lyceum, which is kind of centrally located in Hartford.
Okay.
As an option. There's been a few, I don't think we've met there, but there's been other, state level activity, and it's good space. Like I said, centrally located. And we're open to any other suggestions. We haven't, Jolie, correct me if I'm wrong, we haven't booked anywhere yet, but a couple of other options where we've done in the past, I know it's kind of a little bit far for some folks, but in Cheshire, Cass has space there. The Connecticut Association of School Administrators, they have nice technology there. The State Advisory Special Education Task Force met there, and they have the OWL technology. So if there were folks that were hybrid or couldn't make it in person, we could do a hybrid meeting.
Okay.
And the sound is very good. The quality is excellent. The camera follows those who are speaking and things like that. So that's another option, and open to any other suggestions. I know you've all had a couple of other suggestions. Our hope is to pin that down, this week, probably, to get, kind of get a space reserved and then send that information out to folks. I think it's great to be in person, but also given folks' schedules in the summer, if we could offer virtual, I think we'll have better attendance.
I completely agree with you.
Makes good sense.
Yeah.
Sean, Jolie, any other details I left out? No.
Nope.
Okay.
And we're putting the May 24th meeting at the beginning of the orientation.
Yeah, that was suggested, since we had the reschedule from the last time. We could do, like the first 90 minutes or so, which would be open to the public in a meeting, and then close out for the summer orientation / training.
That would be great, because then you can welcome our new members.
Yeah, and we also have the student candidate to vote on. We didn't get to vote in May, so that'll be great if we can do that.
Yeah, I can do like an end of the year wrap up updates, from the Bureau. We'll have the legislative session ends today, so we'll know what that looks like to give an overview there. So that will be important.
So it sounds like the Cheshire venue might be the best for greater participation among all SAC members, and
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, that's great.
All right.
We did we've confirmed the date so far. We just need to make sure the location and the time.
Yep.
Okay. And then we have the agendas. That's agendas for the meeting?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So I guess we're going to have to do another executive committee meeting before then.
We could talk about it now if you want. I mean,
Sure.
you know, there's always the decision between training, you know, how much time do we want to focus on training? How many folks have already been through the training that are going to be there that'll be kind of repetitive? Do we want to break out and do something separate for new members outside of that day, which we could absolutely do? Because I think, you know, a lot of our veteran members, you know, have heard or seen multiple times the content. So I just want to make sure you all are, you know, we have options to think about to most effectively use the time. The primary purpose is to set priorities and to review the priorities. We've had a variety of different folks facilitate that. We've had the RESC Alliance facilitate in the past for us. We've had CERC facilitate in the past. We've facilitated on our own at times. So there's different options depending on what you feel the need would be. And I reached out just to Tom Hennick, who's the FOI trainer for the state. He hasn't responded back, but I gave him the date and time. That's a possibility for him to do, you know, like a 30 to 40-minute overview of FOI, which would be good for the whole council and committee. But if he's not available, we can always give him the dates of our meetings next year and carve out some time for him for that.
I would say more closer to 30 minutes. I don't, for FOI.
Yeah, I think he's got a short, like he's got a shorter version and a longer version, so we can do the, you know, shorter.
Great. And as I don't know what other people's opinions are about onboarding new members. It's hard because you don't want them to miss any other information that we're doing. Is there any way to do like have them have a breakout for their meal in a separate room while they're eating so they don't lose, or I don't know.
Yeah, that, I mean, that's an option, or a separate day is an option too. Like we could
Okay.
invite them, you know, to do like, I think Jen, one year we did that at the LOB where we pulled all the new members out for like 90 minutes to go over.
Yeah, and you know, kind of Jen was kind of my new member mentor. And I didn't know if we could think of assigning people a mentor, especially our students. To say,
That's a good idea.
I have someone they immediately connect with. They know that that's their person to say, hey, how does this work? How do I speak at the meeting? How do I don't know,
That's a great idea.
It's so wonderful to be able to just reach out to Jen. And you were kind of, Brian, you were my mentor too.
Yeah, Susan, I spoke like with our team at CPAC, 'cause we have our youth advisory board, and Michael is one of the members on the council. So I think that it would be a natural relationship to have them kind of coach and mentor the new student mentors through the youth advisory board. And like the parent members, we have the parent leaders roundtable where we kind of work together to do things like that. I think, and the new parent member is on the roundtable, and Lori will also be joining it. I think she was the only one that hadn't. I'm just not sure as far as the professionals, what they feel like they need as far as mentoring, like the new, I think.
It's just kind of
Finance has a
basic,
new
like
rep.
how just having somebody that you already, if you don't know anybody, because I really didn't, you know, I kind of knew everybody, but someone that you felt comfortable just sending them an email, like they knew to expect that if you're adding questions, just a connection, because I think that would engage them quicker. I don't know what you think.
Yeah, I mean, this is just my 2 cents. That could get tricky to assign mentors. I mean, I see, you know, if we have 6 new people, does that mean they have 6 different people that are their mentor? You know what I mean?
Right.
Our committee's not all that big. And I mean, I see the executive committee as a support to new members, or the membership committee. So I don't know if we want to assign, and then we'd have to train the people we're assigning to figure out what their role is for the.
Okay.
And then if it's a parent, does it have to be another parent? If it's a, you know, that, and then there aren't that many.
Okay.
So, and then, you know, the idea is as we're bringing in new folks, like half the new people, I love the idea of having official mentor. It's just as we formalize it, it just gets a little
Okay.
more complicated, and then it's another responsibility for those mentors. But at least for me, I see the membership committee and the executive committee providing that support to new members so that it's not on one individual person to connect outside. But again, that's just
Oh,
my
no,
opinion.
no, maybe
You guys
mentor
could
was,
move
maybe
forward.
mentor, Brian, is the totally wrong word for me. I just feel like a parent would want to be able to feel comfortable just reaching out to another parent or a student reaching out to a student. I feel like we need to connect at least the students together.
I think that we could probably do something like that informally
Okay.
as members. You know, I know that all of us CPAC staff really try to make sure that we connect with members, you know, especially if something comes up during a meeting that's not maybe an appropriate meeting topic, you know, we'll try to connect
Mhm.
with them outside of that. And you know, like you did a great job prompting the student to participate in the
Yeah.
roundtable discussion. I think something that would be helpful to all of our members, because even some of our newer members that aren't quite so new, like we could be a little more effective in our roundtable discussion and be more clear about who your stakeholder group is. Because some parents are saying their organization they work for when they're really supposed to just be, they're representing parents. And what are the kinds of things that you report out at the roundtable session, because it's not like an advertisement for events, and it's kind of going back to that again, like
Okay.
sharing of events, and when we really need to be sharing stakeholder feedback at that. So I think if we review that at the orientation and maybe come up with an example of guiding questions, especially for our student members, it will help them to be able to feel more confident in participating in that part of the session.
Right, and letting them in, and at times I'm lost when someone's discussing something, and they're using terminology that I don't understand. I think that if I'm lost, then the student is lost. We got to find some
We
way.
could get a buzzer.
And yeah, we got to find some way that when people talk, they really talk as if they're educating, because we're on the video. That's what don't just assume everybody knows what you're talking about. I can't tell you how many times I text Jennifer. Say, what are they talking about? Like, what is that acronym?
You do a great job with acronym control, Susan. That's
Yeah, you do.
I don't know.
put you on the spot, but do you want to work with Jolie, Sean, and I on a separate new member orientation in person?
Sure.
Where we could do like over lunch, like maybe like 90 minutes with
Mhm.
folks,
Sure.
and to go over that. Would the executive committee be okay with that? That way we don't have to worry about them missing something on an orientation in the summer, and then folks don't have to hear the same, our veteran members don't have to hear the same content.
Okay.
And then we could cover some general things that are good for all, but just not, just do the new orientation separately.
Good. That sounds wonderful, Brian. It's a great suggestion.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts on facilitating the session on the 19th? Would you like us to? So Nicole and Christine did last year from CERC. The year before that, I think we were virtual, and then the last
Can I just
in-person.
back up for 1 second?
Sure.
I mean, related to the orientation for new members, I mean, it would be a good time also to set up a standard so that when we have new members coming on and we have to do something on a regular basis, we have that kind of formalized. So just a thought. I mean, so, if we have to do this on a regular basis, there's a standard kind of, I don't know, set of slides or whatever we're going to use so that, we can kind of just go back to it and update it as needed too.
I would love to create modules. That's what I would like to do.
Jen.
So that I know, isn't that so easy? No, just because we have people coming in throughout the year, and if people have to leave, maybe a standard set of onboarding modules, which of course we'd have to make sure are really accessible.
Yeah.
And able to do in multiple languages if necessary, but having the modules, and then we can supplement with whatever else we need to, like with the in-person, but just to not be constantly remaking it and reduplicating it. So like when I'm not here, somebody else can easily do it.
I think it's a perfect use of time and energy.
Right, and I think people that have been onboarded in the last year should also get it.
Yeah. We also have a folder and a packet of some flyers and information for new members that we should probably take a look at and figure out what we want to add to, take away, or like you said, Jen, make sure they're accessible.
Mhm.
Yeah, Sean, thanks for that suggestion. That sounds great.
Wonderful.
Can I say something about the facilitation, like from last year? Just because I heard a lot of feedback from members, and well, the facilitators themselves are great. I think that there was an overall, like, people didn't feel like we had the same kind of authentic discussions that we would have had in our regular council meetings. Like, the questions didn't really help us arrive at our priorities in the way we would have liked to.
Okay.
Kind of like, because we're the kind of group, we work so well together already that we kind of manage ourselves and get to where we do. So I don't know what the rest of you think, but that was just feedback that I had heard last year, where we just didn't feel like we got to where we wanted to be going.
And I think, just thinking back to last summer, that was like, that's when we were all sort of like emerging back into the real world again. And you know what I mean? Still worried about getting COVID. I know a week later I was at a conference and ended up getting COVID. So, so we had that baggage on our shoulders then too. So I think that may have added to the stiffness, shall I say. So, but Jen, I see what you're saying too, because I think that as a group, we really manage ourselves well, and we feel comfortable enough with one another and respectful of everyone's opinions that we can do a lot of the facilitating ourselves.
Okay. All right, that sounds good. So we'll need to meet again before the 19th just to kind of flush things out a little better. But I think the agenda is coming together nicely. Seems like an hour or 90-minute meeting to start with, then a little break, and then jump into an orientation and then priority setting.
Okay. Okay, good. All right. Full council meeting dates.
Yes.
I think we discussed this last time.
Did we set the dates?
Not that I am aware of, but
I think we
that could have.
discussed the months. We discussed virtual and not doing in person in the winter because of snow.
Would it be helpful to see the dates that we had this year as a starting point?
Yes.
If I shared that? Let me just pull up an agenda here. Whoops. So just take me a second. That coming through okay?
Yeah.
All right. So this is the previous year. Dates and times, virtual versus in person. And we had that's right. We had one in-person meeting that we changed to virtual in the winter. Jolie, do you have the calendar out to kind of help facilitate?
Yes. Or can you hear me, Brian? Am
Yep.
I on mute? Okay. I'm just making sure I'm not talking here and I'm
No, we could hear you.
So if we're staying with Wednesdays, maybe, you know, we start that last week of September, third or last, either the 20th or 27th of September. Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. Yeah, no, that's
It is, the 27th is a
Wednesday.
Wednesday. Yeah.
Brian, your 20th, if you can take a quick look at your 20th. I think your 20th might be a conflict for you.
On the 27th?
No, they said the 20th and the 27th. Nachi, did you say the last two dates, or did you only say the 27th?
No, I said the 20th or the 27th, but let's go to the 27th.
Yeah, 27th looks better for Brian than the 20th for a meeting for sure.
When's the welcome back meeting for special education director?
Our special education back to school,
Yeah.
September 8th. It's a Friday.
Okay.
The 27th, just to let you know, we have PPTLI scheduled and Jane and I are training at that. So I know we probably
Oh,
won't be
okay.
there because it's
Yeah,
all day.
and I at best will be popping in and out virtually because we're running a full day training for school districts that day. But
Yeah, no, we don't have to be wedded to the Wednesdays necessarily, right?
No,
I
I think
feel like a lot of
Wednesdays are
people-
still good.
yeah,
Yeah,
Wednesdays
block.
otherwise are
Yep.
really good.
Okay.
Then would we start in October? Would we make it October like the 4th instead? And not do September? And
Or you
make-
do the 13th. Would the 13th be too early in September?
Tuesday, not for me.
I can do the 13th. I can also do October 4th.
I could do both.
I could do both as well.
So
I'm
if
okay.
I'm sorry, Nachi, October 13th is a Friday, right?
No,
September.
September 13th or October 4th.
Okay, thank you.
Those dates work for us, Jolie?
The September 13th does no.
Is State Board of Ed the first week? Though?
Yes, State Board of Ed is usually the first Wednesday.
Okay, so
Yep.
the 13th
Okay.
would be better.
The 13th is not exactly, Brian, a 9 to 12 cabinet meeting hold for childhood. So I'm not sure if that's gonna be
For what is it?
early
I
childhood.
I can't bring up my calendar because I'm
Yeah, no.
sharing. So
Early childhood cabinet meeting hold.
yeah, that's okay. Renee could attend that
Then
in my behalf.
How about Connecticut Language Access Equity Education Work Group and CT SEDS meeting at the same time? Those are 3 holds you have at the same time.
On this 13th.
Yep.
The language and access would be okay as well. Although Jen, I know you attend that also. Is that?
Yeah, but so does like
Oh, he's out. And then the CT SEDS is that the specifications meeting, Jolie?
Module meeting.
MTSS?
That's correct.
Yeah, that's okay. I can rearrange
Yep.
that.
Yep, those are the only things I have going for that day. If you can, and they were holds. So, sometimes you just
Yeah.
hop around. So
Yeah.
we all know, guys, he's frequent flyer in these meetings.
Yeah, no,
Right.
that's okay.
Okay, so the next one, then we move the next one to October 11th?
Yeah,
Okay,
I
so
can't do the-
can I just confirm we are gonna go with the 13th for the first?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, can you just, okay. I didn't miss how long that meeting is. Are we doing the 9 to 12 that day? Or we're doing what is the time for that meeting? Or we're not talking about times yet and you just want me to put a hold?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll put a hold on that for the day and we can discuss a time at a later point.
Okay.
Yeah, you can
Does-
decide in person, virtual or not, you know, but
For now, we'll just get them on the, well, I'll just get them on the calendar for us.
Wonderful. Does October 11th work, or do people want to keep it the later in October?
That works for me, but I'm open to anything.
The 11th is good.
Okay. Then I know
If,
what's Brian's and Jen's schedule.
yeah, so if it's gonna, for the second Wednesdays of every month, we have the language access group. If it was like a virtual meeting and we started after 10, that would work. But generally the second Wednesday is when we meet.
So what does October 18th look like?
October 18th.
I have PPTLI.
Okay,
But
then
It doesn't, yeah.
27th? Then we're back to the 27th.
25th?
25th, I have for.
Oh, 25th, sorry, I'm on last
Yep.
year.
That works for me.
I have the 25th. I have the, yep.
Okay. Then that would be the November 30th meeting but it's not the 30th, it's November 29th. And that's the week before is,
Thanksgiving.
yeah, okay. Thank you.
You're
And that
welcome.
would be our legislative office building meeting. We don't think that there'll be snow. I
well,
doubt
this
it.
is just, remember, this is just based on what we did this year. So
Mm.
it's, you know, it's up to you. Do you want to meet at all in November or not?
Yeah, if we're not meeting in
mean-
December, then we should.
You could meet in December instead of November. It's completely up to you. And you don't have to necessarily keep the cadence either. I mean, this is,
Right.
you know, the idea was 3 in person and 5 virtual. If you wanted to keep the same, then yeah, I mean, you want to look to either a November or a December meeting with the holidays mixed in. It's just, you know,
I feel like the minute December hits, it's getting people is impossible. So it would be great if we could keep it to November 30th if that works with other people's schedule. So actually, that'll be a good year because everyone gets that extra week before December starts.
So the 30th of November is a Thursday. Did you?
Yep.
Oh,
want
it is,
that?
sorry, 29th, sorry,
29th.
sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
I got the 29th.
Yeah, that works.
Next. January.
Can you just give me 1 second? January. Okay, we need to, Brian, we need to stay away from the 10th. I think the State Board of Education does this in January. They do the second week. Brian, am I correct?
I have to double check on the dates, but that sounds right to me because of the new year.
Yep. Yep, we need to, I think we don't start, because they would be holding a meeting on the 3rd, a day or two
Yeah,
after the new year.
Right after people come
So-
back, yeah.
Yep, I want to say we need to stick to the 17th, 24th, or 31st for January.
So Jen, would it be 24th for you? Because that's the third week.
17th, 24th, and 31 all work for me.
Okay. Anyone?
Preference?
17th? Because we haven't seen anybody.
Sure.
And that's definitely probably a virtual. January and February are our snowiest months usually.
Right, so we definitely keep virtual in the winter.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
doing good, doing good.
We are.
Okay.
On to
February.
February.
It's the 21st next year.
Okay, so we are in February. Okay. February 21st. Brian, is this training and CT PIE training and TA subgroup?
Yes, that's our inclusive principal leadership that I have to be there.
Okay, February 28th is the following Wednesday.
I'm good that day.
Anybody else?
Yep, good.
That works.
Sounds good.
Beautiful. March 29th is what we had last year. The 27th is a Wednesday.
Yep, that works for me.
Yep.
Wow. Okay.
27th. Yep, I got it.
April.
One
24th.
second.
Okay.
On my way. You said April 24th.
How does that work for people?
Looks good over here for me.
Yep.
That works.
Good.
And then we have our tentative meeting. May 24th, that next year it's May 22nd is a Wednesday.
22nd. I'm good on my end.
Me too.
Okay. Good.
What was the day? 22nd?
Yeah.
Yep. May 22nd.
Okay, now we just have to fill in virtual or in time
Right.
slot. So I'm assuming through the winter, we wanted the virtual shorter meetings.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, and then so you have a decision to make of where we want to try to get into the LOB or some or one of these three fall.
We should be in the LOB when we have that little one-page priority and recommendations to hand out or invite legislators to stop by and pick it up or.
Good point.
Yeah, I agree. Are they there in October or November?
I believe they're in committee meetings. This is when they kind of decide
Yeah.
what they're doing for the following year. I don't believe they're there full time, but I know they have committee meetings.
Yeah.
Anyone have more information on that than me?
No.
No.
Okay. Running out of time. Okay, are we ready
So
to? Go ahead. So probably when do you think it would be that one page? Because I know we were supposed to in June have the full priorities and recommendations done for next year, or just were we having it completely done, or are we going to have it completely done November 29th when we hand out that one page? Because usually July is when we restart what recommendations we're having for the following year, but I wonder if we have to change that now that we're changing when we're having things done.
I think we can make it work either way.
Okay, wonderful.
Like, we're flexible.
Okay, great, great. Just as long as we have some shortened, flashy version for legislators in the fall. That's really the most important part.
Do you want us to try for the October 25 to give us a little runway there?
Yeah, yeah, just in case. Yeah.
And then we'll try to do.
And then, you know, there's still always that goal of having that little, you know, breakfast.
Yeah.
I know, even,
Mhm.
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
I was going to say, even if the first part of our meeting
Yeah.
wasn't really official meeting, we didn't start until 10, but we had breakfast, invite the legislators to cruise by and have a cup of coffee and something and hand them the paper between 9 and 10.
I know. I mean, I wasn't sure if there's a way you can have something set up right outside the building. I mean, not the building, the room, you know, with muffins or something, just to like, food is always such a draw. And if you see it, you're bound to walk over. And then when you get your baked good, you also get to converse and get the one-page flyer.
I think you can't put it outside. I think you have to do it in a specific room. And it's
Okay.
usually in the cafeteria in that back room.
See. Okay.
Unless you do a dinner or larger thing, and then I think there's a larger space. Jolie, am I correct that you reserve?
Yep, you are correct. I'm not sure. I would have to check, like you said, on outside of a room, but like having room, food outside of a meeting room, like to draw their attention. I've never seen that, and like
Yeah.
Susan said, because they're kind of specific.
Yeah.
So I mean, I could check. Nothing. I could
Right.
check.
There's also that hallway between the LOB and the Capitol where they allow people to set up tables. That's a
Oh.
possibility, Catherine.
Okay. Wherever we're going to be the most eye-catching, that's just it,
Yeah,
just want to
I
be able to
agree.
flash, they see and they come over and they want to learn more.
That's fabulous. That's a great idea.
So would you like to go with starting out the year with a virtual and then the in-person at the LOB, and then November, I'm not sure if you wanted to do 2 in-person, one at the beginning and one at the end, and the rest virtual? Is that?
March, we might be able to do in person, but
Okay.
not if it's an hour and a half. Like Jen said, it's so hard to get people to drive someone an hour each way for an hour and a half. So
Yeah, the virtual ones are the hour and a half, and then the 9 to 1 for in-person. So you just let me know how you'd like this distributed across those dates.
okay.
Should
I
we
think
start?
virtual for the first one because everyone's starting just back to school. Am I correct?
Yeah, I think that's a good
Lot of
idea.
Flyers to put out.
Okay.
Oh, I want to make sure September 13th isn't a holiday because don't we usually fall into Yom Kippur and that first week of school? First couple of weeks? I don't have it on my calendar.
I don't have it
Good.
on my calendar.
I don't either.
It doesn't come up on mine.
Okay, it doesn't come up on mine. Let me just Google it. Is that the right holiday? There's 2.
Yeah, there's also Rosh Hashanah. Rosh
Yeah.
Hashanah is on Saturday, September 16th.
Oh, okay, so it's later. Yom Kippur is in October. It's 11th and 12th.
All right.
Because I know the schools are closed. Okay, so should we quickly move on to, because I know people have to leave in 4 minutes, to the
Yeah.
paraeducator discussion. I was reviewing bylaws and I really feel like, I don't know if anyone read about amendments, how to do it. 2/3 vote of members in office, and that would be the executive committee, and by proxy at any regular or special meeting of the council, providing that such amendment has been submitted in writing to all council members no less than 21 days prior to the meeting. So what's 21 days to the 19th?
End of June, right?
Yeah, I have to,
Last week in June.
is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Think like the last.
Is it calendar days?
20, it just says 21 days prior. It doesn't have to
Yeah.
be, yeah, it doesn't have to be.
Yeah, so we could send it out the Monday in that last week in June to the,
It would
Okay.
be
to the
the
council.
28th if we're actually counting days.
Okay,
because
so
there's
you have
30
to send
days
out
in June.
Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can.
So we're gonna have to meet before then, correct? Or are you just gonna send it to us to look at?
Yeah, I have it here. Can you see my screen?
Oh,
So this is just a suggested edit. It hasn't gone through our legal yet, but you could just say, so this is our membership area. All I did was add that to the statute. The membership committee works to identify interested, and I just added paraeducators and active Connecticut students to serve 1-year term as voting member of the council. So instead of pointing out just the student, it applies to both paraeducator and the student. And then Article 6, Section 7, sorry for the scrolling.
don't worry.
Just added paraeducator language here. I put, you know, I know that there was discussions earlier, this can be adjusted as you see fit, but I put the council shall include not more than one paraeducator in any 1 year. Paraeducators shall be actively employed by a public school district or approved private special education program. We might want to think about other entities if we're inadvertently excluding paraeducators, of wording that differently. I know initially it was proposed that there are 2 educators, one from a private, one from a APSEP or approved private special ed, and one from a public school setting. But just thinking about the context of the council in that we have one teacher, one director, one, you know, from other
Okay.
organizations, would it be, and I know we have 4 students, but that's purposeful to have student voice on the council.
Yeah.
Is the executive committee wanting 2 paraeducators versus 1
No.
representative voice?
I think one puts it all in context.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah,
And
it
could
seems
you
like they
add
have
RESC
complete,
program
Jen?
on there, like RESC program, because they're not technically approved private special ed programs, correct?
Yes.
yeah, RESC
Yeah, RESC.
would have to, yeah, so we'd have to think of something that's all encompassing.
Yeah.
If a para works in a charter, you know, we don't have charter schools here covered, or magnets, or,
But we have a charter school rep from the council.
we do.
Um,
But could the para educator be from a chart? Does it have, do we want the para to be from? Not want, but I think we would want to be as inclusive as possible, depending on where they worked and their experience, and then the membership kind of, you know, committee can take all those different factors into consideration. But I just thought, you know, at first revision here, I think this is a little too restrictive, but if
Okay.
we start listing everything, then we might miss, you know.
Right.
right,
So we
So-
could say an actively employed, I'm not sure, and we don't say special education here, so that's probably something,
yeah, we need special education paraeducator, you're right.
or working with students, you know, supporting students in IEPs. So like, we'll have to figure out the wording a little bit, but this is essentially what it would look like, and we can kind of massage the language a little bit more. But
I agree
yeah,
that
just let us know.
if we list them all, then we might miss something. So I don't, you know, somebody who's actively employed working with students with disabilities.
Mm-hmm.
And then membership could then, you know, make the decisions as far as if we get.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard. We all know it's going to be hard for the paraeducator to be on.
To attend, yeah.
Yeah. Do we need to specify working with students who are on IEPs? I'm just thinking, again, with my stakeholder group, we have students who have paraeducators assigned to them, but they're on 504 plans. And, you know, if I make an announcement to my staff saying, if there's anyone you would like to suggest to apply, they might automatically think about someone who is assigned to a student who's on a 504 plan as opposed to an IEP. So I just, again, from my stakeholder group's perspective, it might be important to make that distinction.
Okay.
Does special education make that? Yeah,
It does.
Yeah.
No one
Okay.
can do that.
Right.
do you
Okay.
feel like we need to say in a school setting, or do you think we don't? Because, you know, it could be a hospital setting. If we don't
Oh.
say something like that, I don't know if it.
But is there,
Mhm.
but the student could have an IEP, and the IEP indicates that it's, or, I mean, the hospital setting could be their school setting, but do we want it to be a different type of setting?
because you really want to get the voice of as many people as you can. And if you have somebody that's in
Right.
an isolated setting, they're not going to have much contact.
Right.
we know paraeducators have thousands of different titles, so
Mhm.
we'll have to, I think we'll try our best to capture everything, but the question will come, like, could there be a registered behavior
Mhm.
technician or a, assistant,
Right.
paraeducator, aide, support, tutor. A lot of those, the titles will vary a little bit across the districts, but I think the intent of what you're trying to do is captured here, and then as folks apply, those could be discussions from the membership. I do think you caught a couple of, we don't want to be restrictive, but we want to make sure they're actively working with students and that it's special education focused, not general education support.
Did the Paraeducator Council define what they believe paraeducator is? Is that defined? I wonder if in their legislation? Because that might be helpful to guide us.
They,
For what they feel.
so the Paraeducator Council is
Uh-huh.
in legislation.
Oh, okay.
But there's the position that districts are able to, to kind of design jobs based on the needs of the kids that they have in the local
Right.
level. We could check our paraprofessional guide for, to try to pull some language from there so that it's consistent. But the term paraeducator is relatively new in the state, but
Right, and your
they don't
paraeducator guide,
define. I don't think
could-
I don't think the council themselves defined the
okay.
role.
Yeah, as long as our membership committee kind of has a parameters of what we need, then I
Yeah.
think you don't have to put it all in the bylaws.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would be as general as possible in the bylaws, and then the
Mhm.
membership committee can do like we do for other stakeholders and make sure that we're finding as representative a candidate as possible.
Right.
Right.
Sounds good.
Awesome.
All right. we have-
Before we go, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. I seconded the May 8th and I was at a medical that day, so I can't second that 8th.
Okay, I'll second it instead.
Thank you, Nachi. I had a question
Thank you.
mark.
Thank you. You're so sweet. Membership matters.
So nothing major in terms of membership matters, thank goodness. We are just waiting for our next full council meeting so that the members will have the opportunity to vote on our student candidate. And stay tuned. I think I may know of someone who's interested in that 4th student vacancy. I'm just waiting for some additional information and I'll keep you posted.
That's great.
I love the little legislative flyer. If anyone's not checked the website, it's got a little little hyperlink. That's pretty exciting. Hopefully,
That would be that little cool detail there would be Mr. Matthew Faulkner, who takes what we present to him and makes it pretty. Look at him go. I was like, really,
that was
Matt?
really wonderful.
Very nice.
Thanks,
I-
Matt.
I did tell him I was gonna take the credit, but whatever.
So, do we have any legislative matters or no? Because Jeff is not here.
I didn't have an email from him on anything that he would like to
Okay.
discuss for today.
For me,
Yeah.
what we had mentioned the last time is I was thinking legislative committee should take over helping with the legislative breakfast as kind of like the link to the committee to work with Jolie or Sean. And then I did not mention that new business. Sorry, Jolie, when we were going over the draft for this. But I was going, because of all the amendment changes, I was going over the bylaws, and I think we actually need a bylaw. We need to discuss a bylaw ad hoc, because we really need to go over these because they aren't consistent with a lot of there's no nominating committee.
The membership committee acts as a nominating
Yeah.
committee, except that Brian Smith chairs it
Yes.
because Catherine and I are on the executive committee, so we cannot
Yeah.
be on the nominating.
Yeah.
So it says you shall not serve on the nominating.
Yes, so,
Committee.
so
Okay,
it's basically
know
them
that.
minus us.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep,
great.
we at one point that with the membership nominating, like I want to say the year before you, it's kind of like was combined because the nominating was only meeting like
Once a
If
year.
Once
yeah,
a year.
once.
Yeah.
So it was
Yeah.
combined and I changed. Now, if it's a nominating, I will add that to kind of specify like on the agenda that it's a nominating
Okay.
committee meeting as well, or instead, you know.
Okay, and then just a few things on it. I just think we should like or we should just kind of go over it at some point. Because I noticed it says that the appointing authority fails to appoint a member of the council. And most of our positions say like this chair, this senator is supposed to be appointing us, but it says basically that we would be members at large. If it doesn't say that the membership committee, after the initial appointment, the membership committee then, does that make any sense? The council may utilize a member at large if the appointing authority fails to appoint a member, but they don't have any voting rights or leadership positions. So I just think.
Yeah, we follow that. Yeah, so those,
Okay.
so when we do votes that come through the membership to the
Okay.
executive, they're nominated as at-large members.
Okay, all right, then, but then how do we get them? Because then they have no voting rights.
That's
it
right.
says.
They may have no technical voting rights, but we still consider their input.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like, for example, Missy is on the membership committee, and even though she, couldn't raise her hand for the vote, she would tell us like what her thoughts were, and we would take
Mhm.
that into consideration, because we would not get any work done if we were waiting on
Oh, I
letters.
know. That's why I thought if we don't have, so then it's not necessary to change the wording, because say after the initial appointment, the membership committee takes over this responsibility. Duties, coordinate, schedule, and advertise monthly meetings. And you're the parliamentarian during panel meetings. So I was just reading, and it was also saying that, officers should serve 1-year term. So I just didn't know if we need to look at this and change little things or just.
They should be reviewed annually. They're supposed to be.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I
It's
guess,
best practice to review them annually. You don't have to change them annually, but it's best practice to do that. So
okay. So I think maybe we should find a time at some point to review them. I just want to make sure, and I'm sure, and the reason I'm asking is because I feel like you know what's going on. I'm just reading the bylaws going, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you really know what is actually going on and that you are making them happen.
Yeah, the last update was 2019, so not too long ago. And then,
Okay.
When we are doing these types of revisions for the para educators, it's also an opportunity to see if there are other edits at the same time. So we can definitely carve out some time, even in July, to just look at it, or for the executive committee
Okay.
to reread it and see if there's any other suggestions to incorporate. We're happy to do that.
Did you? So
Yeah.
I'm just moving on because I know everybody's got to go.
Yep.
That was wonderful. That's a great idea. And when would our next executive committee meeting be? I know it needs to be before.
Yeah, we'll want to get together before. I know you all have end of the year things happening, and then maybe some hopefully vacation time. So let us know where it works for you.
Okay. Wednesday, June 8th, June 28th. That too soon?
Yeah. Can we do it the week before the July meeting?
And that would be the 12th?
12th.
Yeah.
I can do it anytime
After 10.
except for 9 to 10.
Yep, we got the same one, Jen.
Do you want to do 10:30? Jolie send something out for 10:30 to
Yep,
11:30?
10:30 to 11:30?
Yes, maybe send something out so we can get the rest of our members. But Tammy is no longer on the executive committee, right? Tammy's rolling off.
Yep.
Didn't she
Yep.
say,
I
is
think-
Catherine still on?
Yeah, well, is she still, but she's still a member of the SAC. She's got one more year,
okay.
yeah. But has she resigned from the executive committee?
No, I think she's only required, I thought you had come back. I could be mistaken, but she's only
as
required to
past
stay on
chair.
1 year.
Past chair.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, as chair, as
Ah,
past chair,
okay.
she's only 1 year.
Yeah.
And then wasn't she planning on just doing one more year, I think, with the
Yep.
committee anyways? So this upcoming year would be her last?
Yes, she said
Okay.
she's going to stand for one more year and then
Oh,
she'd
okay.
like to give someone else the opportunity to join the council.
You got it. And I just want to confirm that I'm scheduling an executive committee meeting for 7/12.
That's right.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. Just making sure. I got that
And then
coming to
Jen,
you
we'll
right now.
connect on the new member orientation
Okay. Sounds
for
good.
a date. Yeah, we'll do that. And
And send out the new bylaw change. It looks like you've got the wording.
yep, we'll just tweak it a bit and have our legal take a quick peek so that you have the final version. And then what was I gonna say?
We need to set the
Sh-
agenda for the 19th.
Yeah, we'll send a draft agenda and then start to build out that content a little bit for you all to
Thank you.
before the 12th, so you can just look at it, through email.
Right.
Wonderful. I'm excited
All
to
right.
find out where you end up having it.
Yes. Yeah, we'll keep our fingers crossed for Cass. If it doesn't work out, we'll give you plan B and
Just
C.
don't forget to make sure it's accessible, like wheelchair accessible. Because I was trying to remember in my head if Cass was,
Cass
but
was.
just wherever we go.
And I also, Jen, options.
Yeah. There's a great pizza place right nearby that we've done before for the BSE.
Nice. Okay, that
But
sounds
But
good.
there's a couple options for us.
The pizza was good. Well, you're asking me, whatever. No, I meant-
Pizza's always good.
I meant
Missy
no
makes
one's,
that bread again.
I meant no one's asking me. You seen me, I'm like not even 10. Pizza's good.
Okay, wonderful. All right, everybody. Woohoo. Oh, I have to end this. Sorry.
Yeah.
Would someone like to make a motion to adjourn?
I'll make
I'll make a
to
motion.
adjourn.
Okay,
Okay,
and I'll second it.
Okay, so Jennifer and then Catherine, all in
Yeah.
favor? All
Aye.
right. Great. So we are ending the Connecticut State Advisory Council for Special Education Executive Committee meeting at 10:01 a.m.
Thanks all.
Thank you.
Okay,
Take care.
Matt.
everybody. Have a great,
Bye.
wonderful week.
Thank you.